Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine starting with a song about resilience, only to find yourself exploring just everything. From the raw bravery of survivors speaking truth to power, to how we consume culture, and even like a surprising road rage video game from China.
Yeah.
That's the kind of journey we're about to embark on today.
Welcome to your custom deep dive. You've given us a truly fascinating stack of sources. It's a real rich tapestry woven from personal reflections, sharp political commentary, and cultural observations. Our mission in this deep dive is really to extract those vital nuggets of knowledge, connect those seemingly disparate dots, and give you a shortcut to being truly well-informed without feeling, overwhelmed.
Right.
We're going to explore how the narratives we create, consume, and challenge profoundly shape our understanding of the world, from global politics right down to our individual realities.
Our journey this week, it really started with a powerful emotional anchor, Destiny's Child's Survivor. And this wasn't just like a nod to an iconic song.
Right.
It was chosen for a deeply poignant reason, kind of setting the stage for the complexities we'll explore. Here's where it gets really compelling. The choice of Survivor directly coincided with the incredible bravery of the Epstein survivors, who spoke to Congress, held a press conference. Their courage in coming forward was just undeniable.
What's immediately striking, though, is how quickly the narrative around such a sensitive event became politicized.
Yeah.
Despite the immense courage these survivors displayed, we saw the president dismissing their testimony as a Democratic hoax.
Right, which clashed sharply with previous claims, like Speaker Johnson's, who'd indicated Epstein was an FBI informant.
Exactly. This tension, it raises an important question for us. How do these wildly different narratives emerge? And maybe more critically, how do they gain traction and influence public perception, especially when they directly contradict each other?
It's the sheer frustration, isn't it? Watching a vital press conference like that, almost immediately overshadowed by something like a military flyover, and then seeing the public grapple with these conflicting, almost unbelievable claims, it's a stark reminder of how easily crucial information can be obscured or distorted, and how vital it is for each of us to actively discern truth for ourselves rather than just passively accepting the first narrative presented.
Zooming out a bit, this challenge of discerning truth, it isn't confined to politics.
Yeah.
It also shapes how we experience culture.
Oh, yeah.
Our sources really highlighted a profound shift in how we consume experiences.
Yeah.
Think about your observation of watching a Prince concert movie.
Yeah, that shared, in-the-moment participation, maybe at a drive-in, no cell phones.
Right, that communal energy, the decorum of the movie theater that kind of restricts active participation. It stands in stark contrast to today.
Exactly. Compare that to my wife, Jane, streaming Jonas Brothers or Taylor Swift concerts live on her phone, sometimes even tipping the streamers directly.
Wow.
It's a completely different kind of engagement, often more individual, mediated, even transactional, sort of. It makes you wonder, does this shift impact our collective memory, our sense of shared experience?
It really speaks to a broader trend, doesn't it? Mediated experiences versus direct engagement. It's not just about music, it's about how we interpret everything. Our sources also contain these wonderfully relatable human moments that touch on this too.
Oh, yeah, like the texture's spicy raspberry jam on ice cream and steak.
Right.
Yeah.
Or the joys and pains of starting to lift weights again. The good sore versus the joint soreness.
Totally. Or even my own knee problem, needing a brace at night, completely unrelated to heroic acts, but just from sleeping? Weird.
It is weird, but consider the texter's observation about those seemingly complex dual-zone AC issues in a car.
Oh, I remember that.
It's that common aha moment when a simple solution, like a small part needing replacement, reveals we often overcomplicate problems. We blame larger systemic forces when, a simple fix is right there.
That's such a universal experience, isn't it? Have you ever blamed a complex problem on something massive, only to find a surprisingly simple explanation?
All the time.
Or like the texter's concise, almost irreverent summary of Christianity. Sky Wizard became a zombie carpenter to save us from the apple curse. Do you appreciate that kind of direct, even playful distillation of complex ideas?
Sometimes, yeah. It cuts through things.
And speaking of the texter, how about his frustration that a Netflix documentary, High School Catfish, calls the catfisher the texter, co-opting his unofficial moniker?
Gotta protect the brand.
Gotta win that one back.
And this idea of how we interpret and label things, it extends even to broader cultural observations. Our sources touched on that surprising phenomenon of a road rage video game in China.
Right, yeah.
What's fascinating there is how it offers this unexpected window into societal pressures, and how, in certain contexts, even a game can become a safe, albeit virtual, outlet for frustrations that might otherwise, boil over in real life.
Interesting. Another lens to see things through.
Exactly. Another lens through which we interpret and respond to our daily realities.
Okay, so moving from these personal and cultural observations to the more challenging political landscape, our sources delve into a segment called President Trump's Promises Made, Promises Kept, highlighting that he often delivered on what he said he would. But then it pushes us to ask a harder question, as Jason Bateman put it quite eloquently. When do we stop focusing solely on Trump's outrageousness and instead look at the people who voted for him? Not once, but twice.
What's crucial here, I think, is understanding the role of media in shaping these perceptions. The argument from our sources is that outlets like Fox News, by granting credibility to what are presented as outright falsehoods, actively prevent people from accessing or seeking out the truth. This is just about slanted reporting, the argument goes. It's about the erosion of a shared reality.
Right.
Which makes us wonder, how can we foster an environment where people are willing to critically examine the information they consume rather than just, reinforcing existing beliefs?
And this isn't about taking sides. It's about understanding the media landscape as presented in the sources. When Fox News is criticized, the immediate response is often, well, what about CNN or MSNBC?
Sure.
But the distinction offered in our sources is that while others may be slanted, Fox, according to this view, gives credibility to outright falsehoods. This creates a fundamental difference in how information is processed and believed. What stands out to you about how you consume news and try to identify truth in a world just full of competing narratives?
It's tough. It requires active effort.
Consider the Arkansas soybean farmers. Our sources note that some were self-described Meggie guys complaining about policies that were actively hurting them economically. So it begs the question, do people truly connect their political choices to their personal economic realities? If you voted for economic reasons, are you happy with eggs and cheese costing more? Or are you maybe prioritizing other motivations like racial or cultural identity over direct financial self-interest?
This really highlights a profound economic disconnect, doesn't it? The discussion in our sources suggests that while some may think they're voting for perceived economic benefits, underlying biases like racism or a desire for superiority often play a more significant role.
Right.
The dogma of racism, as our sources put it, doesn't actually benefit the white soybean farmer economically.
Yeah.
It only empowers a small oligarchy at the top.
Yeah, one source had that very colorful phrase describing tech CEOs kissing Trump's butthole for short-term gain.
A rather blunt commentary, yes, on perceived corporate opportunism and the pursuit of concentrated wealth.
The historical examples of suffering caused when wealth gets too concentrated at the top, from Marie Antoinette to the czars, they're stark reminders. It makes you wonder, why do people so often vote against their own self-interest, especially when evidence suggests that giving people a living wage actually makes the economy better in the long run? Why is that still such a contentious idea?
It's a deep question. And this tension between individual choice, perceived self-interest, and collective well-being brings us directly to another critical area explored in your sources, the vaccine debate. Our deep dive revealed the Florida Surgeon General saying no vaccines, not based on data, apparently, but on a right or wrong moral argument, explicitly ignoring scientific consensus.
Right. That, alongside figures like RFK Jr., it creates a dangerous path, according to the sources. The concern raised is about losing herd immunity and the potential return of diseases with a vengeance.
This isn't just about individual liberty. It raises that important question about personal choice versus societal well-being.
Yeah.
The argument from our sources is that it's not truly about people's choice, but about forcing a particular choice on everyone else through the erosion of collective health protections, kind of like historical debates over prayer and the Ten Commandments in schools.
It demonstrates profound tension, doesn't it, between individual freedom and collective responsibility, especially with cold and flu season on the horizon. How do you weigh individual choice against the collective good, especially when scientific data is involved?
It's a constant balancing act. Yet, amid these concerns, our sources also found hope. They mentioned the size of the protests in D.C. and Chicago yesterday.
Showing people are not just sitting at home, but actively engaging.
Exactly.
This week's deep dive also brought us a whirlwind of local insights, reminding us that these broader themes play out in our everyday lives, too. For sports fans, there's the beloved MUKU game,
Oh, yeah.
a source of intense local rivalry and tradition. Next year, they play at KU's new stadium, then not again until 2030 or 2031.
Wow, that's a long break.
It makes you question the economics of football and why some rivalries get put on hold despite their cultural significance. Or even the Chiefs game, terrible defense, Worthy's dislocated shoulder, Buckner missing the extra point. A sad start.
Yeah, back to reality a bit, maybe for Chiefs fans. Competitive, but not top of the world.
And then the NFL playing in São Paulo, Brazil. The sources talked about the global strategy for merchandising and subscriptions.
Right, but the advice offered was interesting.
Yeah.
You got to have kids play it like soccer or basketball, highlighting that long-term cultural adoption is different from short-term economic gain, especially when football is, well, an expensive sport to play.
Good point. And this localized example, it connects to a broader theme of how decisions are made around cultural institutions and resources.
Which raises an important question about how society addresses complex issues on a larger scale. Take the discussion of Chicago's Labor Day violence, for instance. Our sources pointed out that sending troops is often seen as a performative act. It ignores the root causes of gang violence, lack of education, unemployment, mental health resources.
Real issues.
Exactly. The solution, it's argued, comes down to money investing, where priorities truly lie, rather than just, say, giving tax cuts to the wealthy.
And these choices about funding and priorities, they lead us to ponder even bigger questions. Our sources even touched on the concept of corporate-run societies from the show Alien Earth.
Right. Asking if that's where we're headed.
And the texter's observation that democracy is harder because it requires looking at both sides of an issue. What do you think stands in the way of truly funding solutions to societal problems rather than just applying temporary fixes?
Well, that's the multi-billion-dollar question, isn't it? Priorities, political will, maybe short-sightedness. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, these local and national challenges have global reverberations. Our sources briefly touched on the ongoing debate about supporting Ukraine.
Yeah.
The Afghanistan example, which our sources also referenced, serves as a stark reminder that an insurgency can wear out a larger power.
A tough lesson.
It raises an important question about the strategy in Ukraine and the necessity of sustained, thoughtful support against protracted conflict.
And for a moment of levity, how do we process all this? Sometimes it's through satire.
Yeah.
We can't ignore the South Park episode mentioned, where Donald Trump becomes romantically engaged with Satan, with Fox News apparently happy about it.
Only South Park.
The humor, our sources tell us, is in the double entendre and the commentary on media reaction. Does political satire like that help you process or reflect on complex political situations? Or does it just add to the noise sometimes?
I think it can cut through the noise sometimes, offer a different perspective.
So what does this all mean for you, listening in? We've journeyed through a deep dive that started with the raw courage of Epstein survivors and the complexities of political spin. We pondered the changing nature of cultural experiences, from communal Prince concerts to individual TikTok live streams, and how we interpret everyday frustrations like a car's AC.
Right.
We grappled with the challenging questions of truth, media influence, economic disparity, and we even had a chuckle at some sharp pop culture commentary. You've seen how disparate pieces of information, when placed side by side and thoughtfully connected, can reveal a much richer, more interconnected understanding of our world.
This deep dive has really shown us that whether it's the weight of global politics or the nuances of personal experience, the narratives we choose to believe, and the questions we dare to ask, they profoundly shape our understanding.
That's true.
Remember what Christopher Waltz said about his character, Hans Landa? Hans Landa did not think he was evil. He thought he was on the right side.
Chilling insight.
It challenges us to look beyond labels and ponder the motivations behind actions we might perceive as wrong, reminding us that truth often lies in those gray areas.
Yeah.
And the texter's playful insights that Uncle Leo, the wing thing, is a huge scam from the Wings and Water event, or his take on chickens as amputees who still live a full and vigorous life. They remind us that even with the most serious topics, there are always multiple, sometimes unexpected perspectives. As we heard in that beautiful song, Wichita Lineman, there's an underlying poetic truth to be found in the mundane, if we're willing to look. So what narratives will you question, and what deeper truth will you seek out as you move forward?